right, so before we go to the next topic, I have a super chat that just came in from Frank Friel. I apologize, Frank, if I'm mispronouncing your name. But Frank says Biden ran against Obama in the 2008 Dem primary.
Yes, he did.
And had to drop out because he said Obama was well-spoken for a black man. He was made VP to keep old white people from freaking out. Full disclosure, I'm white.
You know, the funny part is, though, I don't think white people know this.
I remember that.
I remember that
too.
So
maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, you were talking about how to take out Joe Biden.
Right.
And I started making a hit piece for Joe Biden. That video where I was clipping
Black
together.
people can't take care of their kids.
Right. I was putting together clips of like some of the racist shit that Biden has said over the years. And that comment was part of the clip, in the video. That maybe I should finish that video.
I think you should finish that video personally.
It was like a 3-minute hit on this particular video. There was
it should have been 30 seconds.
The problem is you want a 30-second like hit piece video, I guess. But he's got so much shit to put together.
But you only need really...
I understand that, but it was so hard to pick and choose out of all of the content that I found. So I had one particular video based on just the fucked up shit that he has said and his stats on the crime bill. That's just one video.
That's one video. But the only one that I wanted, the only video that I want, black folks can't take care of their kids. With a secondary reaction from the woman on MSNBC... And the guy was like, he has to drop out. That's the most racist thing I've ever said. Just that clip by itself. Because that clip is so over the top.
Birdman 23, that's what we're trying to... That's kind of the goal, is to kind of like show black people. He said, and yet he's still polling high with white people. That's the problem.
That's my point. Yeah.
They haven't seen all this, which is why...
Well, two things. It's not entirely that they haven't seen all of it. I mean, ultimately, you're talking about the older African-American crowd. What white people don't know, and maybe you don't even know this. This might be unaware to you.
Me, I doubt it.
This might be news to you.
Come on, what you got?
Joe Biden is a person
I knew that
blacks think they can sell to whites in the general election.
What?
When you talk to Joe Biden, is the person that older blacks believe is necessary, meaning that's the person that they can sell to whites in the general.
Okay.
That's their thought, honestly. If you talk to, for example, if you talk to Margaret would say, he's our only hope. If you talk to other elderly African American, they would say something similar. He's our only hope. Why? Why is he their only hope? It's not so much that we love his policies. Policy would never even come up. It's he keeps the monsters at bay. He keeps the monsters at bay. And until you deal with that, the other stuff becomes more difficult. Now, if you hit him on this notion of black folks can't raise their kids, they're like, motherfucker. And ideologically, it becomes difficult to support him on something like that when that's clear. That's why I want the response of, kind of at the bottom of what he said in writing, in addition to the reaction of the two black people, the only two blacks that they had on set, like, oh, he has to drop out. Because Zerlina Maxwell flipped out. She was pissed.
And she was like cursing and stuff, and she was like, I'm sorry, bleep. And they were like having to bleep her out. Yeah, she was pissed.
She was pissed. I don't know if she was cursing. But she was
because I remember she either...
Well, the white woman that she was talking to didn't get it. And I think that aggravated me that much more. I don't typically agree with Zerlina, but on this, I'm looking at this like, this white motherfucker, she's... Because it was like, he literally talking about African Americans that they can't raise their kids. Now, what is she supposed to think of this as an African American woman? Where this man just said she couldn't raise her kids. And the woman that she's talking to doesn't get the issue. I don't see the problem. I mean, he said it pretty fast. Are you sure African Americans are going to hear him? And she said, I don't care whether they can hear him or not. That's not the point. The point is that he said it, and you should be apoplectic over the fact he said that. And now, I look at that and say, that's a perfect campaign video. That's it, just that. Nothing else, just that. You need to do two things. Pry away electability argument from Joe Biden, because that's his entire... I can show you the polling on this, where you look at the polling, they'll say, who do you think is best on healthcare? Sanders. They're talking about, in the polling. And trends, not just one poll. Who do you think is best on healthcare? Sanders. Who do you think is best on immigration? Sanders. Who do you think is best on, they would say, the economy? And this flips between Biden and Sanders. they would say, who do you think is more electable? And it would go to Biden by like 20 or 30 points. And you would look at the vote tally, and it would say something like, Sanders, I think the last one was like 15, Biden 18.
Yeah.
3 fucking points. But all of that is electability. If electability wasn't a part of that, then Joe Biden would lose on every stat. And nobody gives a shit about a candidate if they don't think the candidate can win. Meaning that the moment that Joe Biden started losing even a few percentage points from electability, he tumbles. Now that's the catch. Joe Biden can win this. I know you think he's a clown, but he can win this. He could win this. Sanders supporters, don't get in your head that he can't win. I made the prediction that the people who are out of the race are Buttigieg and Warren. That means everybody else also is out of the race. The person who I did not exclude was Biden. Biden could win. Don't sleep on that.
Maggie Smith says, if Biden is nominated, I'm going to market that pheromone block so we can spray it on our kids. Your kid, maybe. Krillin876, Krillin, and thank you guys for the super chats. Krillin says, well-spoken is like calling him a house Negro.
I don't think it's that. I think the well-spoken thing, it just comes across as, why would he be anything other than that?
Well,
I think that's the
we
issue.
had this conversation before
it's
when
this
I was
assumption
because it's like well-spoken for a black person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
Kind of implying
It's
that
implied.
you believe that he was not going to speak well, and why would you believe that?
Because it's so rare that you use for whites.
Rock Lee, thank you, Rock Lee. All right, so Rock Lee's going into another topic.
Go ahead.
So I want to make sure that we're done with this one. Let me make sure there's... Oh, somebody said, check your Streamlabs. Frank Friel, or Friel. Frank, how do I pronounce your name? Frank, help me. Frank says, Biden watched too many episodes of Different Strokes.
He's just old. I don't mean that as a negative. I just mean,
reality.
He's reality. He's stuck in his,
He's an elderly dude.
He looks at the world, I would imagine, from the last 70-some years of his life. Yeah. So it's
yeah, but so is Bernie Sanders, and he don't be out there saying some of that stuff.
No, he don't say that shit. But he never believed that stuff. Like, it's a different upbringing.